What up? It's your boy T-Bear here on the reaction. Today is Films Friday. So, with the official new movie of Venom, Let There Be Carnage coming out. I've been saving these two videos from Watch Mojo for when the time it gets close to it though. So we're very close to it though. So anyway, the first video we're gonna react to today is the top. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna do more on one video. We're gonna first check out the top 10 worst things Carnage has done by Watch Mojo, which is one of the earlier videos. Cause I heard about Carnage way later. I mean, I heard about him before as just as a comedy character. But while I got deep into him, hearing about more, I heard that dude was a vicious motherfucker. To hear about him late and then hear about this movie, to this day, I tell y'all, you always hear me say this. To this day, I regret never getting Maximum Carnage video game for Super Nintendo with Spider-Man and Venom. So anyway, let's first check out the top 10 worst things that Carnage has done. I got a feeling I'm gonna brace myself for this one. So let's get it.
This symbiote and host pairing have no interest in playing antihero. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst things Carnage has done. Before we begin, we publish new content every day.
At least with Watch Mojo, it's going to be too graphic.
So be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the most depraved, shocking, and abhorrent acts ever committed by the villainous Carnage. Please note that we'll be considering the actions of both the Carnage symbiote and Cletus Cassidy without the symbiote. Because really, Carnage's legacy of brutality is a combined effort of both symbiote and serial killer. Number 10. Going on a murder spree as a warm-up for Spider-Man.
Whoa.
In 1993, Carnage cemented his status as one of Marvel's most dangerous and depraved villains in the 14-part story, Maximum Carnage.
Oh, he came out.
The event begins with Cletus Cassidy locked up.
So he did his debut in the 90s. Okay, that's what I thought.
That's
what I thought. See, that's what I thought. I thought he did debut in the 90s, like I said, because I heard about him late. I always heard about Venom a lot, but I never knew about Carnage like the 90s. So he did debut in the 90s. Okay.
Institute for the Criminally Insane, where attempts are being made to cure him of his insanity. Unfortunately for every employee and resident, a blood test triggers the Carnage symbiote, and he proceeds to flaunt his freedom by killing everyone he can find. He clearly takes pleasure in his work, but it's a spree with a purpose. Carnage wants to be good and ready when he reunites with Spidey and Venom, and this is the clearest way to announce his return. Number 9. Murdering a man because of his name. Carnage only cameos in this issue, but as he's wont to do, he completely steals the spotlight despite appearing in just a few panels. Though Cletus Cassidy had been introduced in 1991, it wasn't until this 1992 issue that he would make his debut as Carnage. We wouldn't get a proper look at him until the next issue, but this ominous one-page aside, which teased both his powers and his chilling grin, was the perfect introduction to the character. The plot is simple. Carnage literally just looked for a dumb name he didn't like in the phone book and proceeded to seek out this individual and kill him.
What is it,
R.I.P. Gunny Stein. Hello, Carnage.
Oh, I'm gonna say this.
Number 8. Turning his psychiatrist into a cannibal.
Whoa.
Artist Eric Larson reportedly took inspiration from the Joker when designing Cletus Cassidy. But we suspect that the writers have continued to draw on the
I figure like kind of like a Joker influence a little bit. You know, Joker is
Prince of Crime when shaping this twisted Spidey villain. Case in point, they both have a habit of corrupting those attempting to treat them. Much like Joker turned psychiatrist Dr. Harleen Quinzel into his murderous muse, Cletus Cassidy turned Pentagon psychiatrist specialist Matthew Kurtz into a freaking cannibal. Admittedly, Kurtz seemed rather unstable to begin with. But when Carnage drills a tendril right into the psychiatrist's brain and gives him a front row seat into the mind of Carnage, the man snaps. When a guard intervenes, he eats his face. Number 7. Contorting a man to death to prove a point. In the 2016 Carnage series, Cassidy got a hold of something called the Darkhold, a powerful book of sins that's been kicking around the Marvel Universe since 1972. The plot is a bit convoluted, but long story short, Carnage takes on the power of the Darkhold, which allows him to create duplicates, only to become frustrated when it doesn't work for him as expected. Looking for answers, he seeks out one Roger Fellwood, only to find Roger Fellwood Sr. instead. When Junior arrives on the scene, Carnage explains that his new ability is horrifically killing the would-be hosts instead. How does he demonstrate the problem? By doing it to Gleason Sr. Number 6. Committing mass murder at his orphanage.
Oh my god.
Here's a Cletus Cassidy moment to remind you that the man behind Carnage was a monster long before the symbiote came along. Cassidy had a messed up childhood, to say the least. Over the years, various writers have filled in his backstory with such unsavory early misdeeds as torturing and killing the family dog, and murdering his own grandmother by pushing her down the stairs.
Damn.
In his defense,
he dresses in
she
the
was
Spider-Man
abusive.
look.
But the same can't be
of
said for
course.
the victims at the orphanage where he grew up. Here, Cletus killed an administrator, pushed a girl in front of a bus, and burned down the orphanage with his peers still inside.
Shit.
Number 5. Infecting an entire town with his symbiote. The 5-part Carnage USA miniseries saw the beloved villain take his unique brand of horror and apply it to an entire small town. Arriving in Doverton, Colorado, Cletus Cassidy infects the local water supply to spread his symbiote to the inhabitants of the town, turning all of them into his personal playthings. In the very first issue, we see a baby and a young boy infected and attack their father. It's some seriously shocking content. That's the thing about Carnage, though. He doesn't just love committing acts of murder, he also takes pleasure in mentally torturing his victims. Sadly, not everyone makes it out alive. Number 4. Infecting Peter Parker's son. It may seem far worse to infect multiple children than just one, but this particular victim's relationship to Spider-Man made it more personally painful and thus more resonant with readers.
Oh my god.
In the MC2 reality, also known as Earth 982, the Carnage symbiote has separated from Cletus Cassidy, but it's still apparently got a thing for torturing members of the Spider family. When the Carnage symbiote attaches itself to Spider-Girl's high school friend Moose, she learns firsthand just how dangerous her father's old foe really is. Carnage kidnaps Ben Parker, Peter's son, and then proceeds to bond with him, forcing Spider-Girl to fight her own baby brother. She saves him, but it costs Ben his hearing. Number 3. Throwing a baby out of a window. Sure, Carnage throws baby Ben Parker out a window in the aforementioned story arc, but he'd presumably already infected the infant with the symbiote by this point, making it all just a sick exercise in emotional manipulation. Plus, by 2007, we'd grown accustomed to this sort of behavior from Carnage. 1992 was a very different time. After making his proper debut in Amazing Spider-Man number 361, he quickly showed Spider-Man and readers alike that they were dealing with a very different breed of villain. How? By grabbing a baby from a disgruntled mother and then, after a little pitch-black humor, chucking the baby out the window. Readers had never seen anything like it in the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man before. Number 2. Killing a restaurant full of people. Alright, we can't say for sure that every single person in the establishment died from their injuries, but judging by Carnage's track record, it's pretty safe to say that for most patrons of this diner, whatever meal they ordered was their last. Of course, in a Deadpool vs. Carnage miniseries, the body count was always bound to be staggering. The mayhem begins with Carnage brutally killing a big talking cop. He then proceeds to dismember and disembowel a trio of tough guys. Then, as the bystanders attempt to flee, he seals the door, posing the sinister question, who's next? Number 1. Turned New York City into a hotbed of rage. Carnage has killed so many people, it becomes a somewhat pointless task to rank his misdeeds based on the body count. He's killed men, women, and children with abandon. But he's rarely ever achieved the sort of insidious reach he did in 1993's Maximum Carnage. After fellow Ravencroft inmate Shriek falls in love with him, Carnage uses her unique psychic abilities to magnify the anger of civilians all across New York City, fostering the sort of mindless rage in them that results in citizens randomly attacking one another and rioting. It may not have been as direct as some of our other entries, but rarely has Carnage been responsible for so much violence and chaos. Do you agree with our picks?
Wow, this is good. This is good. That was an interesting one right there. But oh man, Deadpool versus Carnage. Ooh, I'm not a big comic person like that, but I'm gonna have to check that out when I ever get a chance to. Shit, is there online want to check it out? Cause I might want to check that series out. I hope they can make a animated video with something about that. That's kind of tough right there, or even a movie. Hey, that'd be a dope ass movie. So other than that. So that's the how much time we got left. I could throw it, so I'll put them together. So next one is everything we need to know about. You know what? I'm still doing a separate video. So that was a good one right there. So other than that, yeah, I knew Carnage was a sick, vicious dude, but shit. Anyway, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.